There's red smoke in the air today, faithful. 4 moves and signals that could flip the course of the season just hit in the last few hours. We've got hot chatter involving a suddenly valuable quarterback, backstage negotiations to turbocharge the pass rush, a key piece in the interior coming back at the most critical moment, and a historic record within reach for our superstar. The plot has twists, heavy names, and decisions that shake the locker room. Who's ready? You won't believe what we've got today. So take a seat, smash the like button, and let's dive straight into the news. You know that trade nobody sees coming, but that can change everything? That's the vibe. Behind the scenes, Mac Jones's name is circulating again, and, brace yourself, with the Tennessee Titans on the 49ers' radar. Sounds unlikely, but it makes sense. The Titans are lost, with just 1 win and a rookie quarterback trying to find his footing. While young Cam Ward gets punched by NFL reality, San Francisco watches from a distance, knowing it holds a valuable piece. Jones has been spotless in his games with the Niners. 3 wins, 6 touchdowns, and a calm presence that evokes the franchise's greats. But the storyline really heats up when Jeffrey Simmons enters the chat. The Titans' wrecking ball on the defensive line. He's a Pro Bowler, tears through blocks like tissue, and already has 3.5 sacks to start the season. David Lombardi of the San Francisco Standard flagged Simmons as a perfect trade target, and he might be right. Losing Nick Bosa opened a painful wound in the pass rush, and trying to replace him with another edge might not be the smartest path. The answer could be inside, and Simmons would be the ideal anchor. Think with me. Kalia Davis is hurt. CJ West and Alfred Collins are still green. Jordan Elliott is playing at his ceiling. There's a lack of shock value, and when that's missing, opponents don't flinch. Simmons restores that intimidation factor. Even better, he frees up Bryce Huff and Michael Williams to flash off the edges, elevating the whole defensive plan. It's the kind of move that doesn't just plug a hole, it raises the unit's ceiling. Of course, nothing comes free. The Titans would get to hedge their rookie by betting on a more ready-made quarterback, while the Niners might have to include a late pick to seal it. A risk? Absolutely. But in a season with the Super Bowl still within reach and the roster clock ticking, boldness can be the difference between almost champions and champions. And that's not even the spiciest item today, because what John Lynch revealed in the last few hours could set the league on fire. When John Lynch talks, the fan base listens, and this time the 49ers GM dropped a line that sent Levi's into a frenzy. On KNBR 680's Murph and Marcus show, he let it slip that the team is indeed active in trade talks for a pass rusher ahead of the NFL deadline. The quote was short but powerful. "We're having a lot of good and productive conversations." Coming from Lynch, that's not idle talk. The win over the Rams delivered a jolt of belief. At 4-1 and atop the NFC West, San Francisco has looked sturdy despite a wave of injuries. But Nick Bosa's absence is still an impossible crater to ignore. No one on the roster has filled the gap, neither in production nor leadership. And when a GM admits publicly that he's working the phones, the plan is big. Rumors exploded right after. Media chatter ranges from ready-to-contribute vets to young players on short deals who could be molded in Robert Saleh's system. The idea is crystal clear. You won't replace Bosa, but you can strengthen the room. Lynch said it himself. You're not going to find another Nick Bosa, but you can find someone who makes the group collectively better. That line is practically a warning shot that something's being cooked. There's also urgency in the air. Odafe Oweh's move to the Chargers lit a red alert among contenders. Once the pass rush market moves, opportunities evaporate fast. The 49ers know it. If they want to trade punches with teams like Detroit and Philadelphia in January, they need to act now. Behind this push sits the classic strategic dilemma. How much of the future is worth sacrificing for a real shot in the present? Lynch is calculated, but he's bold when he feels the windows open. He's swung big before. See the McCaffrey deal. And if those productive conversations are more than words, we might be about to witness another masterstroke. And here's the intriguing part. This could connect to the first storyline. A potential package involving Mac Jones could open up cap flexibility and bring back a premium defensive piece. The puzzle is starting to fit. But hold on. The off-field moves aren't the only developments. There's rare good medical news that could change the game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Finally, something that lets everyone breathe, and it arrives at the perfect time. After weeks of rough injury updates, the 49ers officially opened Kevin Givens' return window, and that changes everything up front. The timing couldn't be better. Tampa Bay is next, and the Buccaneers' offense is humming. Getting back a player who knows the scheme and provides stability is the kind of quiet reinforcement that can decide big games. Givens suffered a pec injury that sidelined him for the first 5 weeks, but now he's cleared to practice. The original forecast had him out another 2 weeks, but the emergency situation forced the timeline forward. And no wonder, Kalia Davis broke his hand, CJ West is fighting a thumb injury, and Alfred Collins is still getting up to NFL speed. Jordan Elliott, even playing well, has limitations. The group was, literally, at the breaking point. This is where experience matters. Givens might not be a star, but he's the type who keeps the machine humming. On the roster since 2019, he knows every detail of Saleh's defense and has a track record of steady output. In 2024, even with just half a season, he logged 3.5 sacks, the best mark of his career, proof of how much his efficiency climbed. With him back, the rotation looks different. Givens next to Elliott brings more consistency inside, letting Collins take specialized snaps and West ramp up in controlled bursts. That also helps the edge rush, because a firmer interior gives Huff and Michael Williams more freedom to knife into the pocket. There's a second layer of urgency. Tampa's offense, with Baker Mayfield, is pushing the tempo. Their line plays aggressively, and the passing game is dynamic. Without interior help, the risk was obvious. The pocket staying too clean and the defense getting picked apart. Givens might be the piece that prevents that script. Behind the scenes, some will argue this return could even reshape the trade calculus, especially if Givens hits the ground running. A strong showing against Tampa Bay could nudge Lynch away from an all-in defensive splash. And speaking of change, a 49ers legend in the making is about to chase history. The next chapter is all about him, and it could stamp a historic moment across the NFL. Christian McCaffrey might be on the verge of doing the impossible, and honestly, who doubts him anymore? Even with the ground game stuck in mud, number 23 keeps carrying the load, and now he has a shot at NFL history. If he posts at least 50 receiving yards against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he'll become the first running back ever to hit that mark in each of his team's first 6 games of a season. That's absurd in the best way. Context makes it even bigger. The run game hasn't clicked, largely because the offensive line has been merely average. So McCaffrey reinvented himself. He's become Mac Jones's top aerial target while Brock Purdy manages an aggravated turf toe. Even so, his receiving production is outrageous. He's third in the entire league in receptions. That tells you how much Shanahan's plan leans on him to keep the rhythm. And he's not just flirting with one milestone, he could match a legendary Marshall Faulk feat. With 50 rushing and 50 receiving yards in 5 of the first 6 games, McCaffrey would join a practically unreachable club. If anyone can mirror Faulk, it's him. Against the Bucs, the setup is ideal. In their last meeting, McCaffrey tallied 68 receiving yards on 7 targets, and that was during an adjustment period. Now, with the offense fully dependent on his versatility, the volume should be even higher. Ricky Pearsall and Jawan Jennings are likely to miss a second straight game, which funnels more targets to number 23. The under-discussed detail is the physical cost. McCaffrey's workload is extreme, even heavier than last season. More touches, fewer breathers, making the feat even more impressive. He doesn't just sustain the offense, he is the offense. So if he etches his name in the record books on Sunday, it won't be a shock. It'll be confirmation of what we already know. Christian McCaffrey is a generational talent redefining what a running back can be in the modern NFL. But here's the question. Will all this be enough to hold the top of the NFC West? Deep breath, faithful. If the front office turns assets into defensive power, if Givens stabilizes the interior, and if McCaffrey makes history, San Francisco stays very much alive at the top. The plan is bold but coherent. Strengthen the unit, protect the NFC West lead, and enter the playoffs with a clear identity. Now I want to hear you. Is it worth paying a premium for a pass rusher, even if it costs draft capital? Or should the team stay patient and trust internal growth? Comment below, share, hit the bell, drop a like, and subscribe, because tomorrow we're back with unfiltered analysis, painted in red.